Jordan's shocking divorce, plus Olympic security. Next ET.
The growing U.S. toll in the war on terror. An American military plane slams into a mountain along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. We'll have late details. CBS's David Martin goes along with U.S. Special Forces on the search for Osama bin Laden. Eye on America investigates the collapse of Enron. What did corporate executives know, and what did they say? And a technological breakthrough for the early detection of Alzheimer's.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. The United States suffered new casualties today in the war against terrorism. A Marine Corps KC-130 flying fuel tanker crashed in flames in western Pakistan on a remote mountainside not far from the border with Afghanistan. Early indications are this crash was not the result of enemy fire. CBS News correspondent Wyatt Andrews has more on that and an overview of the war in general from the Pentagon.
The KC-130 with 7 Marines on board was on a fuel-carrying mission. It took off from Jacobabad, Pakistan, and was trying to make its final stop of the day near Shamsi, Pakistan, when witnesses said the plane caught fire. According to the Pentagon, it then crashed into the side of a mountain.
The terrain is described as difficult. Rescue crews are working their way to the aircraft at this time.
For the U.S., the crash was not the only tough news of the day. The governor of Kandahar, Gul Agha Shirzai, today admitted he has freed several top Taliban leaders, including the former justice minister, because they, quote, acknowledged the new Afghan government. The release happened with no notice to the U.S. and despite repeated American demands for custody of Taliban commanders.
Obviously, individuals of that stature in the Taliban leadership are of great interest to the United States, and we would expect that they would be turned over.
In the meantime, the top Taliban and al-Qaeda prisoners that are held by the U.S. may move from Kandahar to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, as early as tomorrow. Officials at Guantanamo say they are ready for 100 high-security prisoners at what they call Camp X-Ray. Also tomorrow, a memorial for Special Forces Sergeant Nathan Chapman, who was killed in an ambush. His wife, Renee, told a military reporter how she wants him remembered.
A quiet professional who just wanted to change the world.
On the crash of that KC-130 inside Pakistan, Marine rescue teams and Pakistani troops are tonight still trying to reach that crash site. However, Pentagon officials say realistically there is not much hope for survivors. Dan?
Wyatt Andrews live at the Pentagon. U.S. war planners have recently de-emphasized the hunt for Osama bin Laden, but the failure to find him is not for lack of trying. Tonight we begin a series of reports on the latest and most difficult stage of the hunt for bin Laden in the rugged mountains of eastern Afghanistan. One of CBS's most experienced correspondents, David Martin, traveled with U.S. Special Forces on assignment in Tora Bora.
At an abandoned schoolhouse deep in the Tora Bora Mountains, an unlikely-looking group of American soldiers. They are U.S. Special Forces, and we have agreed not to use their names or show clear shots of their faces. They are all under the command of that man on the left, the U.S. Army major in charge of searching for the caves of Tora Bora.
We want to ensure that they are clear of any al-Qaeda or Taliban forces and exploit any documents or equipment that would be in those sites.
But the search for the caves is proving as frustrating as the hunt for Osama bin Laden himself.
What surprised us the most is the absence of cave sites. We came in with a clear intention to go through and go from cave site to cave site and find a vast amount of information. And so far we found that there's only a few cave sites out there.
Special Forces have given up any real hope of finding bin Laden in Tora Bora, but they are convinced he was here, probably living in those huts and using that cave as a bomb shelter.
This is where the trail of Osama bin Laden goes cold. The last reported sighting of bin Laden was here in this small little valley where the group of huts is over there on November 29th. That's more than a month ago during the bombing of Tora Bora.
None of these entrances lead to the vast multi-level underground complexes bin Laden was said to have built in Tora Bora. These caves really are just caves where al-Qaeda fighters took shelter and stored their ammunition. You have to make a steep, breathless climb up to the ridge above to get to their fighting positions.
This is an al-Qaeda observation post, and from here they could command a field of fire of probably 2 to 3 miles out there in the valley. Some kind of American plane came along and laid a stick of bombs. You can see the craters just marching across the ridge line here.
For all the devastation, there is no sign of bodies. The al-Qaeda fighters are either dead and buried or have fled deeper into the mountains. The caves themselves appear to be largely untouched by all those airstrikes.
The air had no effect on the caves other than, putting debris over the entrance. Walk into the cave and the inside, the structure of it wasn't affected whatsoever.
One cave complex did yield a garbage bag full of propaganda pamphlets, maps, letters, and identification papers.
We'll find out how good the intel boys are when they decipher this stuff.
Tomorrow, Special Forces set out by mule train in search of another al-Qaeda hideout, this one high in the mountains. On assignment in the Tora Bora Mountains, this is David Martin for CBS News.
Zacharias Mazawi was back in federal court in Virginia today. His lawyers and television networks, including CBS, asked the judge to allow cameras in the courtroom for his trial for the September 11th attacks. The government argued against cameras, saying they could help terrorists retaliate against witnesses. The judge will rule on this later. In a trial that has put the national spotlight on parental violence in children's sports, the star witness for the defense testified today. He is the defendant, accused of beating another hockey dad to death and charged with manslaughter. CBS's Jim Axelrod is at the trial in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Walking into court, Thomas Junta was surrounded by supporters. But for the biggest moment of his life, he was all alone.
So what's your name?
Thomas Junta.
Junta took the stand to tell his version of how Michael Costin died. They were a couple of fathers who fought over rough play in a hockey game involving their sons. Costin was supervising the game when Junta yelled at him to calm things down.
After I walked out in the hall and I said, "What's your problem?" He went right into my face like that, and then we grabbed. We kind of split up a little bit, but then he reached back out again at my shirt, ripped a little more, and he was giving me the finger, and it was when he started doing that, it was like a mutual thing, but then he started like drooling and stuff, and it just got way out of hand.
Painting Costin as out of control is central to the defense's case that the punches Junta threw at this rink were self-defense, the last option available to a reasonable man.
I didn't retaliate till it was nothing left to do.
All day, Junta presented a calm, earnest demeanor, never raising his voice, even during cross-examination.
This is a 156-pound man, flat on his back, holding onto your wrist, and you want this jury to believe that you couldn't get away from him?
Yes, I do, because that's the truth. That's what happened. He had my wrist.
That's why CBS News legal analyst Andrew Cohn says the unusual decision to put Junta on the stand was the right one.
I think Thomas Junta came across much more humane and calm than the prosecution had portrayed him to be. The prosecution tried to get him to lose his temper. The prosecution tried to get him to seem like a savage, brutal killer. I don't think he came across that way.
But while Junta's testimony drew the most attention to the courtroom, it may be much less powerful in the jury room. Their witnesses with less at stake tend to carry more weight, like the two women who say they saw Thomas Junta pummel Michael Costin relentlessly. The jury should get the case tomorrow. Dan?
Jim Axelrod live in Massachusetts. In California, a mechanic fired from his job at a nuclear power plant in San Diego County is being held without bail. The charges against David Lee Reza include making threats against former colleagues at the plant. Authorities say they seized almost 300 weapons at the suspect's home and his rented storage locker, including assault rifles, grenades, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. U.S. energy policy is about to take a sharp turn, a turn away from the internal combustion engine. The Bush administration has decided not to push for short-term improvements in the energy efficiency of gasoline-powered automobiles. Instead, it says it's looking long-term at what it calls a whole new source of energy, as CBS's John Roberts reports.
It's not the flashy design, but what's under the hood that appeals to the administration. What the Energy Secretary today declared is nothing less than a revolution in automotive technology.
Families will no longer have to factor in the cost of gasoline in their budgets, in their vacation plans, or in what type of vehicle they buy, because the gas guzzler will be a thing of the past.
In a major policy shift, the White House today abandoned the Clinton-era program to develop super-efficient gasoline-powered vehicles, instead partnering with automakers to declare hydrogen, the most abundant substance in the universe, the fuel of the future.
Well, it would be a tremendous breakthrough for the world. We would no longer be dependent on petroleum as the primary source of energy for transportation.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hydrogen-based fuel cells have been used since the 1960s to power lights and computers on board spacecraft. In cars, they would drive electric motors. There's no pollution. The only byproduct is water. But fuel cells are expensive. Hydrogen is a potent explosive. Remember what happened to the Hindenburg. And there's nowhere yet to get hydrogen fuel. With the government prepared to pump millions into their development, automakers believe those hurdles can be overcome.
We're looking somewhere in the 2008-2010 timeframe to be commercially acceptable for retail-type customers.
Environmental groups hail the program to replace the century-old internal combustion engine. But abandoning the fuel efficiency program will, in the short term, they say, make the U.S. more dependent on oil.
We have much more immediate problems about meeting our oil needs, meeting our energy needs, and we can and should do a lot more in the interim, in addition to promoting fuel cell vehicles.
The White House does plan to introduce its first new fuel efficiency standards in a decade later on this month, but there's a sense here that with the focus now on hydrogen as a fuel, the pressure to come up with any dramatic increases in gas mileage is gone. Dan?
John Roberts reporting live at the White House. In the Middle East, after nearly a month of relative quiet between the Israelis and Palestinians, 2 Islamic radicals attacked an Israeli army post today. 4 Israeli soldiers died before the attackers were shot and killed by other troops. All 4 of the Israelis were Arabs, Bedouin volunteers in the Israeli army. The government of Colombia said tonight that a leftist group has abandoned peace negotiations aimed at ending a 38-year-old guerrilla war. During 3 years of talks, Colombia has allowed the rebels, known by the acronym FARC, to occupy a huge demilitarized zone in the south. Now the rebels have 48 hours to pull out before the Colombian army moves in. You are watching the CBS Evening News. Up next, Eye on America investigates the biggest corporate collapse in history. Was it a scandal? How did it happen? And this may be the first test ever to see Alzheimer's disease early on.
When a man from the 19th century teams up with a man from the 21st.
No one wants to be romanced by a buffoon.
This guy's a dream. The rules of romance are history. Pagan Leopold is a smart, sexy comedy. Oh! 2 thumbs up. Ebert and Roper, Rolling Stone, and the Los Angeles Times are all cheering the hit comedy. That's good! That's now a Golden Globe nominee for Best Actor Hugh Jackman. Kate and Leopold, rated PG-13, now playing everywhere.
Rich, delicious V8 vegetable juice has a full serving of vegetables. For when you want to eat right. Or, at the very least, drink right. V8. Drink smarter.
Have you considered Singulair? Talk to your doctor. Or for more information about Singulair, call 1-888-MERC-99. What you eating?
Beef noodle soup.
Condensed soup? You're an adult now. There's a better tasting soup. New Progresso beef and mushroom has tender steak, pasta, and hearty vegetables. See the difference?
This is better.
Now about that tie.
It's time to go to the better taste of Progresso.
I'm every man.
And every woman who ever suffered from frequent, persistent heartburn.
If you've treated your heartburn and changed your diet, but it comes back 2 or more days a week, then you may know about the burning pain of acid reflux disease.
But there's something about acid reflux that I didn't know.
Over time, that acid churning up can wear away the lining of your esophagus.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't.
But today, there's a purple pill called Nexium. It's from the makers of Prilosec. Just one prescription Nexium a day gives many people complete resolution of heartburn symptoms.
That could mean complete heartburn relief.
And importantly, Nexium is also proven to heal erosions in the esophagus caused by acid reflux. Only a doctor can determine if you have this damage. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium and Prilosec are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So talk to your doctor and call this number for more information and for a free trial certificate for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with today's purple pill called Nexium.
On the CBS Market Watch, cutting jobs to boost profits. Merrill Lynch, America's biggest brokerage, announced today it has shed 9,000 more jobs. That's on top of 6,000 announced earlier. Growing optimism about profits helped to send stock prices higher in early trading today, but the rally fizzled and the Dow ended with a loss of 56 points. The NASDAQ was off nearly 11. Tonight's Eye on America takes a hard look at the biggest corporate collapse in U.S. history, Enron. The Bush administration finally acknowledged today that Vice President Cheney or his aides did meet with representatives of Enron 6 times last year, but they said Enron's financial condition was not discussed. So who did know what was going on inside Enron? Is this or is it not a political criminal scandal? The Justice Department today opened a criminal investigation, and it is not the only investigation of this case, as correspondent Cheryl Atkinson reports.
Energy giant Enron fell apart after admitting it kept billions in losses and debt off the books and overstated earnings for 4 years. Now there are 8 investigations into the collapse. Former Chief Financial Officer Andrew Fastow and other unnamed Enron executives have been quietly subpoenaed. They're key to unraveling Enron's perplexing maze of 2,800 subsidiaries, more than 800 located in places known for financial secrecy, like the Cayman Islands.
They don't have to register those bank accounts. They don't have to explain to the IRS or to anybody else how that money got there. They don't even have to disclose whether or not there's any money there.
It was Fastow who, as finance chief, set up and ran questionable partnerships. Critics say those partnerships and the web of subsidiaries were designed to keep billions in losses and debt off the books. In short, Enron looked healthy, and Fastow got richer.
This insider, Andrew Fastow, decided that his services were so valuable that not only was he making all this money in stock options from the company, but he was also going to pocket another $30 million for coming up with this bright idea.
It's not clear when the executives knew Enron was in big trouble, but last August, CEO Jeffrey Skilling abruptly resigned. His replacement, Kenneth Lay, assured employees there was no problem and urged them to hang on to their stock. Most did, and it cost them dearly. Roger Boyce lost his life savings, $2 million he'd worked 30 years to save.
I guess the thing that hurt the most is it's equivalent to being betrayed by a close friend, because we had that much loyalty and trust in the company.
Investigators want to know why some Enron executives were talking up the company, but cashing in their own stock. Over 3 years, Lay reportedly dumped 27% of his holdings, Skilling sold 39%, and Fastow's attorney admits he sold almost half.
That is very suggestive of knowledge that there was something wrong with the company and that they better get while the getting was still good.
Enron executives have denied wrongdoing, but this week a federal judge ruled shareholders may be entitled to more than $1 billion from those inside trades made by top officials if the executives knew the company was in trouble when they sold their shares. In Washington, I'm Cheryl Atkinson for Eye on America.
We have an update tonight on the story Cheryl spent months investigating: defective Firestone tires blamed for hundreds of deaths. A Transportation Department audit out today concludes the government system for identifying automobile defects is itself defective because, among other things, it relies too heavily on industry data. CBS next. Why the picture may be looking brighter for early detection of Alzheimer's disease.
If you have high blood pressure, you know all these cold medicines warn you not to take them. So take their advice. Don't take them. Take decongestant-free Coricidin HBP. Powerful relief that won't raise your blood pressure.
Now you can help manage your diabetes.
anytime, anywhere. This is Glucerna, an ideal food for people with diabetes. Grab a delicious bar as a snack, or have a shake as an occasional meal. Glucerna has the right balance of carbohydrates, fat, and protein, and it's clinically proven to help manage glucose levels. Glucerna is specially formulated to free your mind for other things. Try Glucerna. It's time for a taste of freedom.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Vioxx, a prescription medicine available from your doctor. Or call 1-888-VIOXX22 for information. Vioxx.
Make any resolutions this year?
I'm watching my figure.
Well, watch it get a little bigger, because you need 3 bowls of that to get the vitamin E in total.
There goes lunch.
Here's what you need for the zinc in total.
Ooh, I thought this was good for my diet.
Not if you want Total's calcium.
Can I change my resolution?
Only Total has 100% of 11 vitamins and minerals you need. No other leading cereal comes close.
I'll take the Total. But you are going to help me clean this up, right?
Total Raisin Bran, Total Cornflakes. What are you getting for breakfast?
I was finally going to buy my grandson a big boy pet. I was on chemo then, and I was exhausted.
If you're a chemotherapy patient and feel tired, you may be anemic. Ask your doctor about Procrit to regain red blood cells. More red blood cells can mean more strength. Procrit is proven and safe. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers.
He takes a lot of energy, but I never get tired of him.
At Bank of America, we really wanted to participate in the Olympic Winter Games. But in the end, we decided to support the real athletes and stick to the things we do best, like eliminating 80% of all upfront paperwork to make the mortgage process less painful.
Americans owe more than ever before, but with all that debt, how can consumer spending power us out of recession? Tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
California researchers report tonight a big advance in early detection of Alzheimer's disease. CBS News medical correspondent Elizabeth Caledon reports on a first-of-a-kind test that uses imaging technology to spot telltale signs of the disease inside the brain.
In the brain of a person with Alzheimer's disease, this is what you see, the tangles and plaques that signal cell death.
Here you see tangles, and they are actually dying single nerve cells.
Until now, this was the only way to see the physical evidence under a microscope after the person died.
This is a way to possibly improve diagnosis.
But now, researchers at UCLA announced they have developed a new imaging technology that will allow doctors to pinpoint Alzheimer's in the living.
To actually show it in a living human patient, this has never been done until now.
The way it works is a radioactive chemical marker is injected into the patient. Then the patient is given a PET scan. In a complex chemical reaction, the marker attaches to the plaques and tangles in the brain that signal Alzheimer's and basically lights them up so researchers can see them.
With the new form of PET scanning, it actually shows the accumulation of plaques and tangles.
It's a small study, only 9 people, but it has big potential, according to aging expert John Morrison.
It's critically important to be able to detect it early and intervene early.
It may also be a crucial tool in determining if new drugs are working.
This tool, as it evolves, will provide a way to follow a patient over time.
But it does have limitations. The images are nowhere near as precise and clear as they are under the microscope, and the technique needs a lot more work before it's commercially available. Still, hope has come in small doses in the world of Alzheimer's disease, and the consensus is any step that could speed up diagnosis and treatment is worth exploring. Elizabeth Caledon, CBS News, New York.
President Bush wants to restore food stamp benefits to more than 350,000 legal immigrants. They were disqualified under changes in welfare rules enacted in 1996. Restoring these benefits could be politically helpful in gaining support among Hispanic voters.
After the new Chevy Trailblazer, everything else just seems kind of weak. The all-new 270 horsepower Chevy Trailblazer, like a rock.
You know when you're not feeling like yourself. You're tired all the time. You may feel sad, hopeless, and lose interest in things you once loved. You may feel anxious, can't even sleep. Your daily activities and relationships suffer. You know when you just don't feel right. Now here's something you may not know. These are some symptoms of depression, a serious medical condition affecting over 20 million Americans. While the cause is unknown, depression may be related to an imbalance of naturally occurring chemicals between nerve cells in the brain. Zoloft, a prescription medicine, works to correct this imbalance. When you know more about what's wrong, you can help make it right. Only your doctor can diagnose depression. Zoloft is not for everyone. People taking medicines called MAOI shouldn't take Zoloft. Side effects may include dry mouth, insomnia, sexual side effects, diarrhea, nausea, and sleepiness. Zoloft is not habit-forming. Talk to your doctor about Zoloft, the #1 prescribed brand of its kind. Zoloft. When you know more about what's wrong, you can help make it right.
Maalox Max challenges Mylanta Supreme. Who neutralizes more acid? Maalox Max. Relieves pressure and bloating. Maalox Max. Comes in more great flavors. Maalox Max. 3 ways the right choice is Maalox Max. Agree or it's free.
We were cooking, so my arthritis pain flared up. But I gotta keep these fingers moving. So I took control with Advil. Doctors know that nothing, not Tylenol, not Aleve, nothing's proven stronger or lasts longer than Advil. It really works. And Advil's gentle on my stomach, too. We sure got the joint jumping again.
You have the strength to get rid of pain. Take control. Take Advil. Imagine combining the stain-fighting power of Efferdent and freshening power of Listerine. You'd get Efferdent Plus. It's extra fresh, and nothing gets your dentures cleaner. Efferdent Clean, Listerine Fresh. That's Efferdent Plus.
Portland ranks as one of the hippest places to live. Find out why a consulting firm says Gen Xers like it here. Tonight at 6.
In our CBS Evening News end notes, the attraction of Ground Zero. The new public viewing stand is drawing so many visitors, they've been waiting hours for a glimpse of the World Trade Center rubble. So today, New York City started handing out free tickets, stamped with viewing times at 15-minute intervals. In Sydney, Australia, a picture makes a little news. They're still trying to figure out how this happened. A mistake during unloading left a cargo plane nose up, tail down, and 10 crew members stuck inside for more than an hour. And in upstate New York, a snow job for nearly snowless Rochester, courtesy of nearby Buffalo. In the week after Christmas, Buffalo got more than 7 feet of snow. Some of it is now being shipped to Rochester for that city's winter festival. For keeps, too. Buffalo doesn't want it back. And that's part of our world. Now here's Scott Pelley with a look at what's coming up quickly later this evening on 60 Minutes, too.
What's the Secret Service doing? Training for the Winter Olympics. We'll go behind the scenes with them. Plus, Morley Safer reports on monkeys trained to do crucial human tasks.
We hope you'll tune in 60 Minutes 2 tonight at 8, 7 Central, and at the usual time tomorrow to the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting from New York. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the Internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Drowning in debt. Eye on America takes a hard look tomorrow. Experience